The brake pad warning on your BMW X5, X6, or X7 isn't going away on its own. It's time for front brakes. Today, I'll show you exactly how to replace them, what tools you will need, and which parts will fit your specific setup, whether you've got standard, trailer, or M Sport brakes. Normally, the first step is to jack up the car, but this is a BMW after all, and if your BMW has air suspension like this BMW X7, well, you have to disable it first so the car doesn't lower itself while you're working here. I will also raise the car to its highest position so I have the most amount of space to work in there. With the car in the highest position, I will simply hold this toggle switch up for about 7 seconds until the air suspension is turned off. You will see this light go off, and that's when we know we are good to go. There you go, the light went out. So now if I press the button again, the car will tell me that the level change is not available. Now we can block the rear wheels, so we can start jacking up the car. It's a good idea to get yourself a couple of these pads. That way you don't damage this lifting point on the car. So I'm just gonna put that here on the flat surface. And now the wheel can come off. It's a good idea to turn your wheel so you have even better access. If you're working on the left side, well, turn your wheel all the way to the right. The first thing we're going to do is remove the brake pad sensor, which is just right here. It's inserted into the brake pad on the inside of the vehicle. So I'm just going to use this little pick tool to try and get it out. It should just slide out basically. It could be stuck, but it doesn't matter if we break it or anything since we're not going to be reusing it. This one's pretty stuck in there, so I'm going to grab a screwdriver. Well, mine is really seized in there, so I will probably remove it after we remove the pads, but I just ripped off the little wire so we can feed the wire out now. And of course, we'll put the new one in at the end. I'm just going to feed it out like this, and then it goes inside this little box, and it's going to be the bottom one here. We can take that out to unplug it. There it is. So here is the old sensor that we have broken off now. Well, that's it. That's the sensor. Next, we have to drive out these two pins that are holding the brake pads in place. I don't have a special tool for this, so I'm just going to be using this nail, but it should work just as well. And ideally, you can pull them out. If not, we can grab some vice grips or something like that and pull them out. And here is the first one. Unfortunately, I forgot to buy the replacement pins and this little retaining bracket, so I'll be reusing them, but ideally you'd buy new ones and replace them. Great, we got both pins removed. Now we have to remove this retaining clip. However, in order for that to happen, we have to spread the brake pads, and that's unfortunately a little bit difficult. So for that, I got this special tool on Amazon. I think it was like $40, and this is supposed to spread the brake pads here. Unfortunately, it seems like it's going to be a very tight fit. Okay, that should be just enough. Okay, just like that. And now we're just going to push those open. So, of course, when we are spreading the brake pads, that means the brake fluid is going back up into the reservoir. So we want to make sure this will not spill. So this is where your brake fluid reservoir is. So I'm just going to keep it open like this. And I'm going to put a couple of rags around just to make sure it doesn't get in anything because it's super corrosive. And I'll just check on it once in a while to make sure we're not overflowing. That should be enough. The reason we have to do all of these steps is because this is a 4-piston caliper. So that means we have pistons on both sides. We have 2 on each side. So we can't just do it like you would do it on a normal car or on a more simple car. So I'm just going to go slow. They will stop at the limit, so you can't overdo this. I think we're there. All right. And now, as you can see, this clip comes out very easily. And as you can see, it's in pretty good condition, so I'm just going to clean it up. We don't have to put a new one in. We're still good here, so I think we don't have to worry about it overflowing. One more crazy thing about these brakes is that these brake pads actually are adhered to the cylinders. So the cylinders on the inside, there's a special adhesive that holds them in place. So if they don't come out on their own, like this one's going to come out on their own, on its own basically. But if it doesn't, you can use a plastic, hopefully a plastic. You can probably do a screwdriver, but plastic is ideal. So you can wedge it in and break that adhesive without damaging anything on the inside. As you can see, that's where the adhesive was. So if this was a newer brake pad, that could be still really stuck on. That's why you'd want to use that wedge. And looking at the brakes, I mean, man, BMW really overdoes it with those sensors because we got the warning on the screen about 1,100 miles ago, This is still like half full. We'll compare it to the new one in a minute. This one might be a little bit thinner, but still there's so much left. Yeah, it just wiggles out, so I don't have to do any extra work here. Yeah, as you can see, there's still plenty of brake pad left, but this is where the sensor is, and the sensor has clearly been worn off, so that's why we got that light. And yeah, you can see why it didn't come out. It's pretty stuck on there, but let's see if we can get it off now. Yeah, comes out pretty easily actually. So the new pads will be adhered with the adhesive to these parts right here, those little round cylinders. So we want to make sure those are nice and clean using some brake clean. I will use this soft brush to clean up the area around and then spray it and wipe it off to make sure it's ready to go, and then let it dry out. You want to get all of the old adhesive off, so that's the idea here. That's why we're using brake clean. You can maybe use like engine degreaser, whatever you have should be fine. Clean it up as best you can. The important part is to remove as much of that old adhesive as possible. While the caliper is drying, let's quickly talk about parts, because this is where you have to pay attention when ordering so you don't end up with something that doesn't fit. There are 3 different versions of brakes on the BMW X6 and X7, and 2 different versions of brakes on the X5. The X5, X6, and X7 can have the standard brakes, which will come with the 348mm rotors, or the M Sport brakes, which come with the 395mm rotors. X6 and X7 have a third option of trailer brakes with 374mm rotors. You can check your car's build out to see which ones you have. Option code is on the screen. It's also important to understand that these rotors are directional, so you will need a left and a right rotor. The calipers are different for all 3 options, so that means your brake pads will also be different and you will have to order the right one. Luckily, the wear sensor is the same on all 3. If that's still confusing, check out the description for a detailed view with the part numbers. My X7 has the standard brakes, but the process should be the same on cars with trailer option as well. I will not be replacing the rotors on this car, as they are in great condition with almost no lip and no rust, and should easily last another set of brake pads. Specifically, I went with these ceramic Brembo brakes that had pretty good reviews and had a very good price as well. As you can see, these also fit BMW 3 Series, 4 Series, Toyota Supra, so a bunch of different cars. And yes, this is for the front. However, they do not include any extra parts, which would be nice. That's why I forgot to order that. I figured it was included. And of course, we get 4 pads, 2 for each side. Let's take a closer look. So here are the pads. We have a metal-free permanent lubricant, so we will be using that next. Let's take a look at those brake pads, make sure they are in good condition. Yeah, these are nice and thick, so I guess we did go through a lot of the brake pad, and this is the adhesive I was talking about, so we're going to peel that off when we put those in and make sure it sticks onto the 2 pistons inside the caliper. Let's quickly compare the old one to the new one. Yeah, so there's still tons of material left, but you can see the difference. And the sensor, well, honestly, it doesn't really matter. I got this cheap $10 one, and I'm sure it's going to work just fine because I've used these before. And as you can see, this is the part that wears out and tells the car that we need to schedule a brake job at the dealer or do it ourselves. Here's a closer look at my rotors. Yeah, there is no lip at all. They seem to be in very good condition. I don't see any overheating issues or grooves or anything like that, so I'm just going to keep them on. If you are going to be replacing your rotors, what you need to do is remove the caliper. And to do so, you're just going to be removing this bolt right here, as well as this bolt right there. So that one right there. And then once you remove it, you can hang it up so it's safe, so you don't break the brake line. Then this set screw comes off and the whole rotor comes out. Pretty easy actually. Using this brake pad paste, we're going to apply a small amount on these surfaces right here. So this is where our brake pads slide, and this is what would be making the noise. So we want to put a little bit here, here, and on the top as well. Now it's finally time to put the brake pads in, and it's pretty simple, but there is one important thing to pay attention to. We do not want this adhesive to touch the cylinders inside when we put the brake pad in. We want the brake pads to be seated in the correct position first with all the clips and everything in, and then when we pump the brakes, that's when the brake pads adhere to the pistons inside the caliper. So that's the idea at least. So let's put those in and try not to have them stick to the pistons inside. One done. Let's do the other one. All right, the pads are in. Quick clean of the bracket, and that can go back in as well. Make sure this locking ring is in good condition. Otherwise, you will have to replace these pins. And of course, now we can put the pin back in. Just the reverse of what we were doing earlier. You want to make sure the pin goes inside this retaining bracket. And if it doesn't line up, you can pull the pads out just a little bit like that. So you want to bend the retaining clip like that, so you can get your pin in. All right, and I'm just gonna drive both of them in all the way. And that's pretty much it as far as the brake pads. Now we're just gonna install this sensor. So this is the location where the sensor is gonna go in. Obviously on the new one just right there. This little nub is facing the rotor. You could probably install it before putting the pads in, but I don't think it's necessary. I'm just gonna push it very lightly with a screwdriver. It's basically in. Want to make sure it's seated. Yeah, a little click. That's it. And now we just route the wire the way the old one was. Done. A little cleanup of the rotor doesn't hurt, so it's easier to take off the wheel next time. All that's left to do on this side is put the wheel back on and lower the car. And then of course we have to do the right side as well. And then I will meet you for some important steps inside the car. With both sides now completed, and before we press the brake pedal, we have to actuate the electromechanical parking brake. So basically this e-brake. So I'm going to put the car in diagnostics mode by pressing the start button 3 times. And now we're going to engage the emergency brake. If you skip this step, you might get an error message in the car and your car will go into the emergency program, meaning the brake power assist is no longer active. So it's very important. We can now also activate our air suspension. So I'm just going to hold it for 7 seconds. There it is. So that's back on. Now we can press the brake pedal several times so the brake pads are in contact with the brake discs. And lastly, we have to press the brake pedal all the way to the bottom and hold it for 1 minute. This will bond the brake pads to the brake pistons. With that process complete, we can release the parking brake. And finally, while still in diagnostics mode, we will reset the service reminder. So we're just gonna press and hold this BC button for like 10-15 seconds, basically until we get the reset menu pop up. You might see other pop-ups before that, but we're gonna keep holding. There it is. So front brake pads reset possible. Great. Just going to press and hold again. Reset. Yes. Press and hold again. Reset in progress and reset successful. So that message just went away, and now we just have the next service due in, looks like 200,000 miles. All right. Well, the previous ones only lasted about 70,000 miles, so that's a bit optimistic, but great to see. Well guys, that's pretty much it. That's all it takes to replace the brake pads on your BMW X5, X6 or X7. Of course, you're going to need that special tool, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And you will save probably $500 to $600 just in labor by not going to the dealer. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to see how to replace the rear brake pads on the X5, X6 or X7 BMWs, well, check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.